Imagine you finally find a medication that helps with the constant tightness in your chest, the recurring nightmares, or feelings of hopelessness caused by anxiety, PTSD, depression, and suicidal ideation. You know it is illegal, but it has helped so far, and it is more accessible than some of the prescriptions you have tried. Besides, you can't afford insurance anyway. You trust the person giving it to you because it has worked so far and has helped you with the day-to-day routine. This person encourages you to try another drug, promising it feels great and can help with that tiredness and fatigue you have at the end of your shift. You are so tired. So you try it once and realize this methamphetamine is far different from the marijuana you had been smoking. Meth is not hard to find, and now that you have taken it a few times, it is harder to get through the day without any. One day, you are caught using and may be facing felony charges like simple possession and ingestion. By now, you may be addicted to meth, and just quitting to avoid additional charges may be especially challenging, as treatment is expensive and out of reach due to needing to work to support your children. The felony charges will remain on your record, affecting your ability to find employment and housing if you can finish the prison time without further entering the criminal world. This story illustrates the need for presumptive probation for rehabilitation in the community, something which Senate Bill 19 seeks to challenge. Presumptive probation is a policy instituted about 5 years ago as part of the comprehensive overhaul of the criminal justice system initiated by Senate Bill 70. Presumptive probation provides a judge will grant probation for Class 5 and 6 felonies, such as ingestion and possession of a controlled substance. This is unless the court finds aggravating circumstances exist that pose a significant risk to the public and a departure from presumptive probation is possible. Presumptive probation policy intends to reduce the prison population, as well as better support individuals struggling with substance abuse, as evidence shows that incarceration is costly and less effective than treatment. Yes on Senate Bill 17 means increased incarceration and more prisons. This means less money for treatment. Rather than investing more resources into mass incarceration, we can continue implementing evidence-based programs which directly tackle community drug use. Excessive sentencing negatively affects the whole community. Although presumptive probation appears to primarily affect those with ingestion and possession charges who may be struggling with addiction and underlying mental health issues, it affects more than just them. It does give them a chance to recover in the community. This is important for their recovery as well as their families, as individuals on probation are able to continue working to support and contribute to both their families and their communities during their recovery. Incarcerated individuals are not able to care for their children directly or through providing child support payments, so presumptive probation also influences child protection services, as CPS involvement is often necessary if individuals are incarcerated. Incarceration may also mean a greater risk for individuals' parental rights to be terminated and the increased need for permanent foster care placement. Corrections and law enforcement, of course, deal with presumptive probation, as an already burdened penitentiary system needs to work harder when individuals are likely to develop criminal contacts and engage in future criminal activities by visiting prison. Finally, This policy affects probation officers, as developing and funding alternative court systems and effective treatment means probation officers have what they need to support probationers in the community. There are several arguments which support Senate Bill 19. For one, doesn't presumptive probation tie judges' hands? It is important to remember that judges deviated from presumptive probation in about 20% of cases in 2018, as judges can use an individual's particular history and risk to sentence higher penalties such as prison time as needed. Probation doesn't work, the prisons are still full. Without presumptive probation, South Dakota would have already needed to construct another prison. Due to the meth and opioid epidemics combined with lack of available treatment, the state is seeing record numbers of arrests. What about catching more drug dealers? Presumptive probation does not prohibit prosecutors from offering bargains to individuals in exchange for information for those distributing and manufacturing controlled substances. Won't individuals just keep using if they know they will only get probation? People struggling with strong addictions keep using no matter what the consequences are. From alienating family, losing their children, harming their health, going bankrupt. This is what makes it addiction. Continuing to lock up individuals will not deter them and is not a long-term solution for substance use, while probation and treatment can be, if used effectively. So what steps are needed? First, it is recommended the state legislature vote no on Senate Bill 19 in order to retain the presumptive probation policy. Next, the legislature could work to decriminalize ingestion from a felony to a misdemeanor per several evidence-based recommendations. South Dakota remains the only state in the union to label ingestion as a felony. Next, the legislature and the communities at large may fund preventative efforts such as childhood development, screening for risky adolescent and adult substance use, community building, etc. This is a pervasive issue, as in January 2019, the most serious charge for 25% of those incarcerated was ingestion or possession of a controlled substance. Additionally, reducing barriers to seeking treatment is critical. Nationally, only about 1 in 10 individuals with substance use disorders received any type of treatment during 2015. About 40% of those individuals also had mental illness. Over half of these individuals received no treatment at all. Inability to pay for services is the largest addressable barrier to seeking treatment. Nationally, cost is the primary barrier for 1 in 3 individuals not seeking treatment. As the numbers of individuals struggling with meth and opioids continue to increase, it is essential to develop new, effective, comprehensive programs and facilities across the state. Individuals with serious substance use disorders are recommended to stay engaged for at least 1 year in the treatment process. The Surgeon General recommends that for individuals with substance use disorders in non-conducive living situations, like others in the home are using or there is physical or verbal abuse, then recovery supportive housing should supplement outpatient services of case management, recovery coaches, and/or peer support. Voucher-based reinforcement is also associated with positive outcomes, including longer treatment engagement, longer periods of abstinence, and greater improvements in personal functioning, even for cocaine, alcohol, opioid, and meth use disorders. Finally, for those individuals who are inevitably caught up in the legal system, continuing to expand and refine the specialty court systems will support their success in the community. Nationally, it has been estimated that half of the United States prison population has an active substance use disorder. A national cost-benefit analysis showed that providing court-supervised community treatment for all arrestees, regardless of their charge, who are at risk of substance use disorders has a benefit of over $3 for every dollar in cost. Studies show that every dollar spent on substance use treatment saves $4 in healthcare costs and $7 in criminal justice costs for each dollar. Overall, well-supported scientific evidence shows that for substance use, any treatment is cost-effective compared with no treatment, whether inpatient, residential, or outpatient. Imprisonment is a very expensive, no treatment option. Thank you for watching and taking time to learn about the importance of presumptive probation and the continued need for resources to treat substance use in the community.